What's up, broskies? My name is Marco Dupa, and with me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy!
Tonight's brew is from the Oviedo Brewing Company. It's their Barnyard Blonde Ale. This is super local.
Yeah, I mean, for us in
pretty
particular.
much is local. Yeah, for us. Yeah, you can't really get much more local than a brew from the Oviedo Brewing Company. So,
the old hometown and stomping grounds.
What's on tap for tonight? I mean, we talked about Kanye, and so we'll talk about him just a little bit more because we have to talk about the Donda 2 experience. The Donda 2 experience.
Yeah.
Donda 2 experience. What else? If you guys pay even a little bit of attention to basketball, and in particular college basketball, you'll see the controversy with old Juwan Howard.
We'll
give you all the deets on that, but what's come of that is people proposing, how about we just do away with this handshake line? What's with all these pleasantries? Let's change some things.
Spit in their eye after. Why not?
So we'll get into that because I'm interested. Let's see what people are thinking on that. And last but not least, Call of Duty, Activision, everybody else who's involved,
and associates.
Yeah, I'm not gonna run down everybody.
Yeah.
This year the game has turned into one of those yearly releases, i.e. a Madden or a la Madden or an NBA 2K. But this year they're actually skipping a year. No mainline entry into the series this year. Mm-hmm. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? We'll get into that and all. And not all, but much more.
No, we will cover everything.
And then and that's it.
Yeah.
The podcast is over because we've covered it all.
The end.
So let's just get right into it. This is episode 343 of the One Beer In podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If I open it too close to my ear, it gives me a little tinnitus. Does that ever happen to you?
I don't open them close to my ear.
Do it sometime just to feel something,
Okay. Just to feel something.
Because it gives me that little.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little too close. Maybe it's because I played drums without ear protection for a while.
Yeah, you're like Dave Grohl.
Could be.
Already going deaf. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
You guys going deaf.
Oh, Lars too. Lars Ulrich.
Look at that head.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That is pretty good. Mine kind of sucks in comparison.
Sorry. It's that good.
Yeah, I mean, don't ever be sorry about how good you are.
That's what Mom said.
Don't let these haters make you apologize for how good you are. This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and see where that one brew takes us. Delightful. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for joining us every week, week in and week out, and whenever you can. And thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to drop a comment or two, they're more than welcome, even if you've got some constructive criticism or feedback.
Sure.
Would love to hear it. Would love to not debate you in the comments, but respond later on the actual show. Unless it's something like super compelling.
Sure, yeah, I'm not against debating in the comments.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if somebody were to say something that was like compelling enough, I think it would be more fun to like talk about it on the show.
Sure.
Or at least give us like, hey baby, it's all about content.
The world is content.
The world is content. I shaved my head for content. I did.
You're
that
not bald.
Only for you. I shaved my head.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
I did this for you guys, not for me. It gives me no pleasure to no longer have hair on my head. I'm lying. It gives me all the pleasure in the world. Right now it does. I mean, We'll see next week. I'll probably be like, why did I do this? I had so much hair.
I don't think you will.
No.
I think you don't realize it, but maintenance of long hair takes up a certain area of your finite time.
Yeah.
So at first you may be like, I feel like I'm missing something. This is kind of boring. It's like, playing the hair game on easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But after a while, I think you'll get used to it, and you'll realize I can focus on something else.
All that time.
Yeah.
Think about how much time I'm saving throughout my day.
Yeah. You just get up, and what do you do?
Yep. That's it.
Get the dust bunnies off your head. That's it.
And then boom, I'm ready to fucking rock and roll. Half of getting ready for the day is already done because I ain't got shit to do. I'm honestly, okay, so I grew it out for about a year and some change, about a year and 9 months, 10 months. It's almost 2 years. And it was fun. I did what I said that I didn't know if I could do. I did it.
Right. Because this is like a second leg attempt, right?
Yeah.
Because you started growing it out when I started growing it out initially.
Yeah.
And then what? Was it maybe like 6 months or so? Or was it longer than that?
It was about 8 months, 8 or 9 months.
Okay.
And then I gave up on that, shaved it, and then I was like, no. I gave up too soon.
Uh-huh.
And then went back in and did it again. Almost immediately afterward.
Yeah.
Like I shaved it, and then I was like, I'll do the fade for a little while, and then I just kept growing out the fade. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, fuck it, let's try again.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can fucking do
shaver's
this.
remorse.
Yeah. Shaver's remorse. Mm-hmm. So grew it out again. Then got to the point where I did it. I did it. Got the little bun going. I didn't braid my hair like I wanted to, but I did want to, and this was part of the reason why I shaved my head. Was I just woke up a couple weeks ago and I had this urge to do it, and I didn't. I fought the urge. I said, it's just a whim. It's just a spur of the moment thing. The feeling will pass, and you'll get through it. And then I talked to some people about wanting to do it, and they were like, well, why don't you cut it first? Do something with it. Do like a, go to a salon and like get them to like trim it. It's too. Maybe it's the thickness of it. Maybe you like, you get some of that thickness out of there. You take those shears that like, take all the, and maybe you do something with it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, fine, I could do that. Then I started to think about that, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want the maintenance of like, all right, now I have to go back every like 4 weeks and have them maintain this look,
clean it up.
Oh, I don't really want to do that. I guess you could say all of this stems from laziness. Not more laziness, but just like I know what this feels like. I've had this hairstyle before, and every 2 weeks just go to a barber and have them give me a clean fade. I did this, if you couldn't tell.
That was out of desperation.
Yeah. No, I've been wanting to try to teach myself how to do a fade for a while.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything needs to be a self-maintained operation.
Yeah.
If I can do everything myself,
sure, then
I will.
Yeah.
So
you're a end of the world prepper. You want to make sure that you're fully self-sustainable.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do the braids. I was gonna bring the braids back like Carmelo Anthony, baby, like AI. Had an appointment set up. Was on my way to this person to do it, and they admitted to the unprofessionalism of this move, this act. This person goes. I've never met this person. It was my cousin,
and you never will. At this point.
I know, yeah, that's over unless she knows how to cut a fade. That's over. We set this thing up. Work out how much money. We got the whole thing going. I'm on my way to her, and she calls and she's like, "Hey, I gotta be unprofessional." And my cousin's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Yeah, I forgot that you guys were coming, and I went and got my nails done." Now, mind you, we spoke to her the night before, and not just like in the evening time, like 7:30-ish, like set it up, and then you go off and you do your own thing, and maybe you forget. No, dude. I got off of work, so this is 2 a.m.
Right.
when he's texting her. She only had like 8 hours to forget, and she took it. She took the 8 hours and was like, I'm not storing that information. I have other things to do.
Maybe she woke up with the same epiphany you did of cutting her hair, but it was to get her nails done. And so she couldn't not do it.
Yeah.
Because, it's very compelling to, you getting your hair braided could have paid for her nails, right?
Well, you would think.
So she literally felt so compelled to get her nails done at that time that she went out of pocket
Yeah.
to get them done.
Literally.
And lose money 2 times in that process.
Uh-huh.
So,
She lost what could have been a loyal customer.
I think you have to respect that.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a level that I'm not seeing that I need to...
It's almost like a spiritual awakening of a drive that you would have to have in this economy.
In this economy? To turn down money that's coming your way. It's on the way.
Yeah.
Literally, a car with money in it is on its way to you.
To turn down money, and on top of that, spend money.
Yeah. And that's what I told my cousin. I was like, yo, she must not have needed this money, because you got to really be doing well enough that you're like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Apparently,
I've got other things to do.
Apparently not.
Because not only does she lose money on me, the immediate money that was on its way to her, but she loses more money in the future, because how long do those nails usually last? Women? Tell me. I don't know. I know a couple weeks, a month. I could sound like really stupid right
10
now.
10 years.
But they last as long as they want them to last. And then,
Yeah.
No, they just have a real nail, grows all the way out here, and then a fake nail on top of that. And they just have to break it off whenever they feel like it.
It's gross.
I know.
It's very gross. It's like a Frito.
Yeah, so I was upset about that, but then I took that as a sign, as maybe something, the universe going, hey, look, maybe just follow the original urge that you had.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally was like, yeah, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
So I just went to the store, bought a new set of clippers, and then this was, I will say, the first time that I sat in the bathroom and really hesitated for a moment and had to think it over. Should I? Really? I did. And then I finally did I started to shave the side of it, and I was like, well, maybe if I don't like it, I can just kind of do an undercut thing. And then I was like, well, no, I hate that, and I hate those people with those haircuts. And so I just was like, I'm done.
Uh-huh.
And then I had this big cheesy smile on my face, and I was like,
feels so good.
It's over.
Yeah.
And so I'm good. This feels great. I'm happy.
That's good. We have our first week in Orlando of 90-degree weather.
Oh, it's coming?
Almost. We're at, I think, high of 87 or so.
Today? Or just
this week, this latter half of the week, we're starting to warm back up.
Yeah.
I think it's going to cool down a little bit, but my point is the process of the rapid reheat of Central Florida is upon us.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
So I think you chose a good time to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm due for a clipping. I'm not going to go as dramatic as you did.
Well, somebody has to maintain the good hair on this show.
Oh, wow.
If we're the best hair in the game, somebody's got to. If we both do it, then it's over. We can't
Listen,
claim that title anymore.
Short hair can be good hair too, and I'm here to tell you that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think you're probably going to be the only one. Everyone else is going to be upset, and that's okay.
Let them be upset.
Yeah, it's my life.
Yeah, it's your hair.
Yeah.
Autonomy, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wanted this.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do this, and I followed that.
Never apologize for that.
I won't.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
You got any housekeeping, Evergreen?
You
don't have to.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn. I should say : Forbidden West is fantastic. If you haven't gotten it, I oblige you to. It's very good. Very, very good game, especially if you like the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my brief bit of advice for people out there to go check out that game because it's very good if you have a PlayStation platform.
I've been playing more Sifu, and I guess I have an amendment to my original review of the game because I didn't really give it a real review. I only played like the first
couple hours, right?
Not even a couple hours. I only played 30 minutes. Played like the intro and then a little bit of the first stage. It's a completely different game than what I thought it was going to be. It's not a beat 'em up. It's not a you just run through and just have fun.
Right.
Cracking skulls.
Oh, it's strategic. Yeah.
It's a roguelike, and it's Dark Soulsian in its difficulty.
Yeah,
it ramps up almost immediately.
I hear it's very tough. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just got the brakes beat off of me. Almost like you jump into the game because when you start. Spoiler alert! It's not really a spoiler, but like the introduction to the game is like a pseudo instructional thing.
Yeah.
But the character that you play as is not the character that you play as in the intro.
Right.
And he has all the moves, and he's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. This is gonna be this. This is how this is gonna feel. This shit is hard.
Well, I think the point is you get that taste of it so that you do level up.
Yeah.
To the point where you do feel like that.
Yeah. Good fucking luck. It's dude, there's moments where you're flowing and you're thinking like, "Oh, I'm cracking skulls now. This is awesome." And then you get caught by one guy off screen throws a fucking beer bottle at you and then you're dazed and then two guys come in and then beat you to death with baseball bats. Beat you to death. With baseball bats, and you die in like 2 moves. You're a glass cannon, a paper tiger, and like you have these devastating maneuvers, but everything has to flow perfectly.
Yeah.
So it's a lot hard. It's not just hey, turn the game on and have fun. No, it's
right.
It's fucking. But there's it's fun. There's a funness to like learning the game and like. Trying to do a perfect run.
Yeah.
I watched somebody do a speed run, and although I'm never gonna do a speed run, you watch how some people, get through the game quickly, and you're like, oh, I can do that. So I stole like some moves and stuff. So get Sifu. It's still dope as shit. I'm still happy with it, but it's a lot fucking harder than than what I thought it was gonna be. So, all right. Do we want to start with the Juwan Howard thing?
Well, I didn't do the beer cold read.
Oh, I didn't know there was one. I'm sorry. I apologize. Adam, please give the people the cold read.
Thank you, Marco. We have the Barnyard Blonde Ale from Oviedo Brewing. I tricked you. There's not a cold read, but I found it online.
Okay.
Joke's on you. The Barnyard Blonde is a 5% ABV, 20 IBU. It goes as follows. Crisp, bready blonde ale made with pale malt, white wheat, and Carapils malt. Low overall bitterness and hop presence. Clean It says clean crips. Clean crips. And slightly bready ale. I'm not sure if crisps is a flavor palette or if it means crisps. I'm not sure.
When you do that, you have to like just give like a second of the San Andreas theme song.
Yeah. Bittering addition of Warrior and Willamette for aroma, clean and crispy.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what we're sipping on.
Well.
But yes, as you were so introducing, let's start with the Juwan Howard controversy.
Juwan Howard.
Juwan
Howard. Well, I mean, if you've had your head buried in the sand when it comes to sports, you probably wouldn't have been aware of this old nugget of information. But apparently, there was a game between Wisconsin and Michigan. College basketball. Juwan Howard, former NBA All-Star, is now the coach of the men's basketball team at Michigan. So at the end of the game, Wisconsin up by 15 points. I guess they called a timeout to stop the clock and try to score more points. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know do they have the details in the article?
I would have to dig for it, and I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. But, yeah, from what I gathered, it was essentially they called the timeout in order to prevent the other team from having any more time once the turnover happened.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's just say...
But they were already ahead by,
15 points.
Double
they were
digits.
Up by, yeah.
Right.
And so, okay, just for the layman, and because we don't feel like doing the research, they did something very unsportsmanlike to the other team. Wisconsin did. Let's just leave it at that. As simple as...
An argument can be made. So I've seen some people say, there was still enough time for them to mount some kind of comeback.
15-point comeback?
Yeah, I don't think so, sure. But,
No, I mean, they always... Here's the thing. Let's take this little detour for 2 seconds.
Okay.
What are your feelings on the unspoken rules of sports when it comes to, all of this stuff? Basketball, like if a team is up by 10 points, if the lead is insurmountable, but they're still trying to score points, do you think that's fucked up? Or football, when a team is up by 3 touchdowns and there's 2 minutes left and they're still running plays instead of taking a knee. What is your feeling on the unspoken rules of sportsmanship in sports? Not like the weird but I'm saying sportsmanship. I mean, baseball, bat flipping,
sure,
stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's determined by the sport that we're talking about, because I feel like something like golf or even baseball is steeped in tradition and sort of an old guard that keeps this mystique around it from getting too classless. So I think it depends on what we're talking about. But at the same time, me personally, I say, play the game. Do whatever's advantageous to you. I mean, in my perspective, it makes perfect sense if, I don't know, say you're up by a ton in a football game, so you put in your, second, third string.
Yeah.
Just to give them some field time. That makes perfect sense to me. And if they just so happen to score more points, sorry.
Yeah.
What's that to do with me?
Right.
I'm not going to feel bad as the opposing coach doing that.
I think the shittier move is to leave your starters in and keep playing, keep trying to bury your opponent. If you put your third string in and they score, it's you guys are playing tremendously bad.
Yeah. But at the same time, there could be circumstances where you find that justified. Like if this is a rivalry game, or if I don't know, the other team did something dirty before.
Yeah.
Ring it up on them.
Yeah.
That's within play.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, I mean, all of this shit, and that's why it's these unspoken rules of these sports. I feel like whatever happens. You do the thing, and then you deal with the consequences of doing the thing. So, if you want to run up the score, that's fine. But if Tom Brady goes down with a knee injury because, you left him in.
Of your hubris.
Yeah. Then you got to deal with that too.
Uh-huh.
Bat flipping. You piss off the pitcher because you cracked a fucking moonshot and then flipped the bat and then stared him down. And then he eggs you later.
Yeah, you get beamed.
I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But I think you just play through it. These people with these you can't do that kind of thing. You shouldn't do that sort of thing.
Yeah. The thing about this entire situation and situations like it that bothers me to no end is the op-eds speaking from upon high, saying how we need to be better than this.
Yeah.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
It's
a game.
We're safe within we should be safe within the confines of the sport to do whatever we need to within that without having to have this think piece about how society is breaking down because somebody did a bat flip.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Or that the sport is ruined now because this guy, you know, was talking shit or something. You know, like...
They just don't want these guys to have fun, man. It's just so fucking boring and regimented, especially like the more traditional sports like a golf or a baseball, where it's like, yeah, it's been around for 1,000 years, and you have all these rules and stuff, and you got all these old people who still watch the sport who are like, hey, you can't do it.
That's not right.
It's not my baseball.
Yeah.
And you got the 23-year-old kids who are just like, you know what, fuck you. I'm gonna shimmy my ass all the way there. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Which, you know, like, let me say as a whole, it is something I respect with, like, baseball specifically, because that does feel like a very, again, steeped in tradition sport. I like it for that, because it does feel kind of more wholesome than, let's say, a football does, to me at least.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I grew up in a baseball household predominantly, so I have a certain tenderness for it. But I think you can take that a little too far.
Yeah.
And get too stuck in this old world tradition of, like, everything needs to be Disney squeaky clean. We're playing like it's in the 1950s, and, you know, we're leaving modernity and we're going into, like, the Field of Dreams game.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what we're doing, but every game.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like,
like
we're all pretending that we're not living in 2022.
Yeah.
No, and that's
down.
why specifically any of these superstars that come out of nowhere, these, like, young kids coming out, you know, with tatted up, wearing gold chains and stuff, and flipping their bats, are so awesome.
Yeah.
Because they break that tradition. Sure, the rest of the sport is kind of steeped in it, but you can have those outliers and still maintain, like, a sense of what the sport was at one point, you know? Keep some integrity, keep... a good-naturedness to it.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you don't have to, like, get onto, and again, write an op-ed about it if somebody does something out of the norm. Now, what we're talking about, though,
It's a little different.
It's a little different.
A little different.
A little different.
So, at the end of the game, they're doing the traditional handshake of
Hi, how are you?
players.
Hi, how are you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Juwan Howard was like, nah, I don't want to... Nah, I'm okay. I'll pass.
Well, he went up to, like, when they cross paths, because I actually got an audio recording of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were able to unearth an audio recording.
What does he say?
He says something to the effect of, I'm going to remember that shit. And then that's when the other coach grabbed him.
Yeah.
And they started to get into it.
Yeah. So that's the thing, okay? So first and foremost, the people who are like, you know, Juwan Howard should be, you know, taken out back and shot. It's like, okay, calm down, relax, first and foremost.
Yeah.
The guy wasn't unprovoked. Yes. Did this escalate further than it needed to be escalated? Of course.
Yeah.
Because two grown-ass men who were supposed to be the leader of children.
They're not children.
They're children. They're college players. They're 18 years old.
It's
18, 19, those are kids. Dude, we're in our 30s. Those
I know.
are kids.
Yes. Not technically, but yes. Yes.
They're not, I'm not saying they're toddlers. But
They're
Juwan
little baby
Howard,
boys.
Juwan Howard and Coach whatever fucking guy. I don't watch college, and I definitely don't watch Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
What's his name? He's got to be in this article, right? Or somewhere.
You would think,
Give me the information.
I've been looking for his name. Okay, let me look it up.
I'm looking like a fool here.
All right, let's see. So we got Juwan Howard and is it Phil Martelli? No.
No, he's taking over.
Oh. Okay. We're figuring it out. Hold on.
No, we got it. We got it.
Well, Juwan Howard's getting fined $40,000.
And he got suspended for the rest of the season.
Okay, Wisconsin coach Greg Gard was fined $10,000. It's ridiculous that we had to look through 2.5 articles to find Greg Gard's name.
Yeah.
Because everyone's only talking about Juwan Howard, which I think is kind of messed up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I bequeath you to go and watch the video of this altercation and judge for yourself. Although I'm sure you're probably going to have a shitty opinion on this.
I mean, literally, look, like, in this article from NBC Sports, quote, as a result of the incident involving Michigan head coach Juwan Howard striking an opposing assistant coach, that's all it says, an opposing assistant coach. It doesn't say anyone's name on the other team.
Yeah, because it's you know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. You know, they're already creating the narrative.
Right.
So they're doing their post game pleasantries, and apparently Juwan Howard was like, "I'm gonna remember that shit." Mm-hmm. And old Greg was like,
"I'm old Greg."
I'm old Greg. They got into it because I'm sure he tried to plead his case as to, like, hey man, it's sports,
right.
And this is how these, what's the attitude about, like, hey, can't we just let bygones be bygones?
Hey there, buddy.
And he puts his hands on him, and then it just escalates very quickly.
Oh yeah.
And then this assistant coach comes in, who's the one that Juwan Howard actually put his paws on, and it was like one of those swift. Like, it was almost like he was trying to grab his head off of his neck. Just like a smack, but like a grab.
It's because you could tell he knew if he threw a punch, it'd be over.
Yes.
So like instinct kicked in, and he went, and then midway through the punch, he went, no.
And then even as he's like pulling away, you can tell he's like, oh no, I messed up.
Yeah. But then all the other players come in, and it becomes like a scrum.
And the fallout is, as we said, Juwan Howard getting fined $40,000 and is suspended for the rest of the season, which I think was 5 games. And so he obviously bared the brunt of the punishment. And, listen, we're not. I'm personally am not excusing Juwan Howard's behavior and his actions.
Yeah.
Because, like we said at the beginning of this bit, sports is sports. And you do it. You do a thing, and maybe it's unsportsmanlike, and it's like, you have to deal with that. But I think, you can
get mad.
Of course, sure. No, his feelings were justified, and it's fucked up. He's not playing the game the quote unquote right way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you gotta be better than that.
Sure.
And but on the inverse, I saw a lot of people saying, and I had to actually go back and rewatch the video. A lot of people were saying that Juwan got even more mad because this assistant coach who ran in trying to throw his weight around started pushing kids out of the way. So this grown man is now pushing, college-aged men. Sorry. Started pushing these guys out of the way and stuff. Put his hands on college kids. Put his hands on kids.
Right.
College kids.
Right.
And then that's what got Juwan even more mad.
Sure.
And then that's when he retaliated against this assistant coach.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, he didn't throw a punch at the coach.
No, I mean...
he didn't touch him first.
No. Yeah, he was trying to just walk away. He was trying to just, give him the business and then just move on. And then this guy was like, no, you're not going to... No. You're going to sit here and you're going to listen to me plead my case or whatever.
Listen here, Buster.
Yeah. Which is just... That's how you know you're wrong. When you're like, no, get back here. I need to fucking get this off my chest.
I need to sleep tonight. You're going to hear this. Yeah.
So he knew he was wrong.
Sure.
So
I mean, even so, he has come out in media and said, like, I did it because, I'm still playing the game. Like, that's it. I still wanted to keep. There was still time on the board, enough for them to get some more points off, and we didn't want that. Essentially, not direct quoted. Of course, you can look up his direct quote, but that's essentially the gist of his excuse for why he did what he did.
History won't look back on that. All it'll be is that Juwan Howard, famously volatile guy,
Right.
will just have another incident.
Continues to be famously volatile.
Yeah, that's it. But one of the things that apparently has been proposed by NBA Hall of Famer Patrick Ewing,
My man. I love me Patrick Ewing.
has been to abolish any post-game pleasantries. I don't know.
Yes.
Give me the deets.
Okay, according to this NBCSports.com article that I maligned, Patrick Ewing says, and I quote, "I don't like the handshake line," Ewing said. "I don't like it because anything is possible. You're just getting through a heated battle, a heated game, and anything can happen to make things worse, which is what happened in that situation. If it's my call, I think we should just take away the handshake line. Just do like we did last year in COVID. You wave by and you move on."
Okay. Number one, I like that he's just like, yeah, do what we did in COVID. We don't have to do this. Just because we've been doing it doesn't mean that we have to continue doing it. But number two, shit, I lost my train of thought.
Well, okay, so the article continues on. This is not his quote, but within the article.
I remember what I was going to say, but go ahead.
It's a tradition in the sport that is intended to celebrate the competition and respect of one's opponent. But over the years, these post-game incidents continue to happen more frequently. Just 2 days prior to Howard hitting Wisconsin assistant Joe Krabenhoft is the assistant coach's name.
Okay.
North Dakota State Oral Roberts game ended with a skirmish resulting from the handshake line.
Another scrum.
Right. So apparently this is something happening more often.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was Patrick's sitting here talking about, anything can happen. You just went to fucking war. And now your fucking blood is pumping, your adrenaline is racing. Okay, dude, relax. Okay, I get it. You just played a hard fought game, and if it didn't go your way, your emotions are a little high.
Sure, yeah.
But calm down.
Right.
Nobody died out there. They didn't just go to war. It wasn't an actual skirmish.
Yeah.
It was a basketball
game. It was a game.
And
I think that's what the handshake is supposed to signify,
Yeah.
Even if it sucked, even there's a lot of feelings hurt, the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The thing is, I don't believe you have to do that either. I don't believe that, like when MMA guys, like when one guy knocks out another guy and then they shaking hands and stuff afterward. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I just got knocked out. I just got knocked unconscious. I'm not going to wake up and the first face I want to see is the guy who did it and then give him a high five. Like,
yeah.
Totally, dude.
Well, I think that's something that we can't really fairly judge because we've never been in that scenario. I think a lot of these guys have a sense of respect for each other. And I think martial arts is predominantly based in respect.
Yes,
so
for sure.
When even if you get your ass beat, you understand that it's just in the context. It's not like a personal thing. It's within the sport. Unless they
nothing personal. I just beat the shit out of you.
Exactly, which is hard to do as people like us who don't fight for a living.
Yeah.
To contemplate and kind of get in that headspace, but I can kind of see where that comes from and understand that where they're coming from it's like it's a day in the office.
Yeah.
They train this entire time, months, to try their best. And if they lose, they still get a paycheck. And also there's respect for that person that bested you, hopefully.
Yeah.
Unless they did something dirty or,
Yeah. Which brings us back to this. I mean, they did something in what is, in Juwan Howard's eyes, a dirty play. They did something dirty.
Right.
And he was like,
sure.
I don't know. Basically, what it falls down to is like these ultra traditional things that we've been doing. Do we need to continue doing this stuff? Do we need to continue on and on with the same shit? That's why some of this stuff gets old and tired and boring anyway.
Yeah.
Is the traditional we've always done it this way, so we're going to continue doing it this way, type stuff. So I don't know. I'm with Pat on the it's not really necessary, and we've already proven that we don't need to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not with him on that these guys can't do it because
right.
They just can't bottle up their emotions for 2 seconds to just slap 5 with your opponent.
Sure. I don't know. I feel like it'd be better if they didn't do away with the handshake. As someone who did a lot of Little League, I'm used to the handshake afterwards. Even if you're,
I hated the handshake.
Even if you're pissed off, it's still a thing you do to get a physical connection with that person that you've hated for the past 2 hours.
Fuck them. I want to keep hating them.
I understand, but I think it's a good thing for society at large to be able to look your opponent in the face. And especially you're talking about these guys are kids, especially the younger you get. I think this is vital for especially kids growing up, especially high schoolers who are feel like this could be the end of the world because they lost the game.
Yeah,
to be able to look your opponent in the face and go, "Hey, good job," is important to do.
I'm gonna teach my kids like Cobra Kai.
No
just
mercy.
Have hatred and
no mercy. Yeah.
You don't slap 5 with your opponent.
No, of course
slap
not.
them in the face.
Yeah.
They get too close.
Break their neck. Don't touch me.
Don't fucking touch me.
Yeah.
I owe you nothing.
Yeah. I personally think it's a good thing overall. And I think if this continues to be an issue and, these sort of incidents keep happening, it says more about our society than it does about the sport.
Well, if you're using that as a reflection of society, then we're already lost.
Yeah.
We're already in the loss, boy. We're already in the loss. All right. This actually, right here, reminds me of the next topic. Donda. If this house on the cover of the beer was on fire.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the motif of his whole thing, which I don't really understand.
It's
that
a house.
motif.
It's a house and a chapel.
But the house is a mock-up of his childhood house, which is now a chapel. But it's on fire.
Yeah, and it's like split down the middle too.
Yeah.
It looks like, I think it's like mirror images, if I got that visual correct. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. So, Donda 2, the sequel to, the highly successful latest album from old Kanye, well, formerly known as Kanye West, now known as Ye. We finally, he's been doing this thing for part of his album rollout, has been these really elaborate listening parties, which are now listening events, listening shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he does them in these in arenas or stadiums. And he has a whole, live show with them where we listen to the album, they perform tracks from the album and stuff like that, yada, yada. So, did that with Donda 2. You could watch it exclusively on the STEM Player website or on YouTube and on Amazon. So, I thought it was going to be exclusively...
Twitch?
Yeah, Twitch too, yeah. Well, Twitch and Amazon, I think...
Yes.
Amazon owns Twitch.
Yeah,
so.
on Amazon's Twitch channel, specifically.
Yeah. So you can watch it on... There's multiple ways to watch it, apparently. So, debuts these new songs, and...
That's what the house looked like.
Yeah.
So, like, the chapel ends on that side, and then there's, like, the house end on that side.
Yeah. All right. Well... I have no opinion on the music because I didn't watch it because I couldn't bring myself to dive in because as the thing was going on, there was people who were like live reacting to it, and apparently this thing was an unmitigated disaster. And you watched some of it.
Yeah, I tuned in probably about halfway through.
It was like a 4.5 hour show. Or broadcast. I don't know if the whole show was 4.5 hours. But
the show itself wasn't that long.
I looked at the timestamp of the broadcast, so I don't know what the fuck was happening for 4 hours.
There's a couple hours of it just being like a screensaver with a heartbeat that got faster. Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kept, that's the thing. I kept tuning in to see like if it started yet.
Yeah.
And after a couple times doing that, I said, I'm not going to base my night around this. And so I gave up for a while, and then
Base my night around.
Lo and behold, I got done, watching TV or something, and I checked in again, and it was already going on. But apparently I tuned in right around the time that the audio issue started.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And now I'm still not clear if the audio issues were just on the streaming end, or if it was on, like, if that was happening in the arena as well. Because a lot of the reactions I've seen from in the arena have been glowing, and it's just been like praise and like this was awesome.
Well, but then again,
Of course, you have to, you got to talk about the yay stands.
yeah, you have to take into account the fact that it was probably a stadium filled with people who just would, I mean, probably do sexual favors for him.
Oh, of course.
Like,
Easily.
with no hesitation.
Yeah.
Gay, straight, otherwise.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, I guess you're gay if you. Anyway.
Okay. My sexuality is a yay. Because I don't say nay to anything.
Nice.
Thank you.
There's a guy who has been spamming his comment section produced by. This was the guy that I was not gonna mention last week or the week before when we talked about it. This was he who shall not be named.
Right.
His name is produced by Zach or something like that. Production by Zach. I don't know. I don't care about getting his tag correct. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And this guy, he's just been littered in Kanye's Instagram. And then somebody tweeted, I'm backstage at the Donda show, and produced by Zach just got jumped. And he was joking, but a lot of people took it seriously, and a lot of people were happy about it.
Of course.
Because this guy is such a fucking spammy troll that when people thought that it actually had happened, they were like, thank you, there is justice in the world, which is to me just so fucking hilarious that people wanted it to be true. It was pretty clearly a joke. It was just some random account that's backstage at the Donda show. It's just really funny that people like, they wanted it to be true so bad.
I will say, even during its worst moments, even through all of the, like technical difficulties, the chat was the best part.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
A lot of people spamming. Audio director's gonna go to jail tonight. Things of that nature.
Yeah, people were like, man.
Engineer's gonna go to jail tonight.
Kanye about to murder people.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, is like, even if it wasn't just in the streaming audio, he very clearly ended songs early, didn't rap on songs that needed him to rap on.
Yeah.
It was just basically instrumentals for half the time.
Yeah.
And then, like, the audio syncing was off on a couple of songs, too. I mean, of course, he got the controversy of having Marilyn Manson out there and DaBaby.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I mean, I will say visually, it was really, really nicely done.
Yeah.
Cinematography, the set design, like, genuinely stunning stuff.
Yeah.
The moon, the house, the fire starting up, like, it all looked so good. I was really impressed by how it looked.
Yeah.
Music-wise, like, again, I started listening as soon as the audio issues began. So maybe I'm the jinx. I don't know. I apologize if that's the case.
Don't say that. They'll come after you.
But
I really believe it was your fault.
I know. But yeah, I can't really comment on the music as much because, again, around the time I started listening, there were audio issues. And on top of that, a lot of what I heard was from either unreleased stuff, I think from Donda, the original, or stuff that was on Donda.
Yeah.
Because he ended up playing a bunch of tracks from Donda just because.
Yeah.
From what I did hear, I mean, it's well produced, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it goes without saying. There's some cringy stuff, as you expect with many a Kanye project. I don't really know what he intended for us to feel about having an actual soundbite from Kim Kardashian on SNL with glowing praise, and then going into a really sad song because it just felt like it felt depressing in an embarrassing way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I felt a little bad for him, but then I remembered all the stuff he was doing online that we talked about last week, and I was like,
yeah,
I can't feel that bad for you, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I want to hear it. I'm not going to buy a stem player for it.
No, I mean, that's just an insane thing. That's an insane ask. Like,
well, that's the other. We didn't talk about that yet, but apparently Donda 2 is only going to be on stem player.
Yeah. So if you don't know, I don't know if he's either highly invested in this device or he helped create it. I don't really know the details.
Mm-hmm.
But this device allows you to, if stem doesn't make sense to you, it's basically the individual tracks of a song. So you can stems are each sound that you want to manipulate in a song, right? So if it's a band, for instance, you mic up the drums, the bass, the guitar, the vocals, and then whatever else you want to add to the song, and each one of those tracks is going to be the stem of the song, and then you can mix and master how you would want that to sound. But you need those individual stems because you want to be able to manipulate every piece of a song down to like the minute details, or else you're going to be stuck with, like, imagine if you were a rock singer and the only thing you had was just an MP3 of the entire track of the entire band playing the song, and all you could do was sing over it, and the only thing that you could do was match your vocals to the volume level but maybe you don't hear the bass as well as you want to hear the bass, or the kick drum, or the cymbal crash, or what have you. So this device allows you to isolate each one of those tracks on the song.
It's a little like having a board in front of you, like a soundboard that you're able to pull up the volume on, bring it down, completely eliminate. Like, let's say you want to get rid of the drum track for a little bit. You can take that away, take away the vocals, and kind of play with all of those tracks.
And so he started selling it with Donda 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it's a cool thing, but to me it's just a novelty.
It's a toy,
Yeah. I would never, honestly, from a curiosity standpoint, I would much prefer to, like, do that on a desktop. Like, if I'm listening to the album on the stem player website and I'm messing with the stems on the desktop or on a mobile app, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm not spending $200 on an actual device.
Yeah, stem player. It's like a little almost looks like an Amazon Home, or a Google Home.
Yeah.
Just a little, like, pod, basically.
And I just don't I mean, the people who got their hands on one for free or for a lower price, more power to you. But if you went to the store or went on their website and you spent $200 on this stem device just to listen to one album, I just don't know what to tell you, bud. And furthermore, what Kanye has said about the future of music streaming, there is something there, what he's talking about.
Sure.
We've talked about that on the show. I talk about it a lot on my own Twitter page, how much, even before the Joe Rogan stuff, I didn't like Spotify. I don't like Spotify as a company. I don't like how they run things. I've talked about it a lot, and it falls on deaf ears because I'm a nobody. But it's fine. It's fine.
Not deaf ear. It's all these people listening right now.
Yeah. Just use a different streaming service than Spotify. Just use a different one. If you didn't...
I still use Spotify. Sorry.
If the Joe Rogan thing isn't enough... which, I'm not saying that you should because of that. I'm just saying...
Yeah, whatever, okay?
Anyway.
We get it. You don't like him.
Anyway. Kanye is not wrong about the share of music, or revenue, rather, that musicians get for their music.
Artist rights and getting pennies.
All of that stuff,
pennies on the stream.
Completely right about.
Sure.
Where he's wrong is his idea of the future, which is these devices or what, like
a music Tide Pod.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, man.
That's insane. So, I don't know. It kind of leaves you going, well, what now? Because like, if he just never puts it on streaming services, I just won't hear the album. Which like, whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm curious. I want to hear the album.
Yeah, me too. And again, it's not worth $200 to me. I'm sure it is to some of you out there. But
you fools.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll leak, and we'll be able to listen to it one way or another.
Yeah,
not that I would do anything illegal.
I would never.
But I'm just saying it could be available elsewhere at some point. You know what would actually be a pretty novel idea for Kanye or for Ye at this point? And we kind of talked a little bit about this when he first started doing this for Donda with the shows. What if he went around to all major cities and performed the entire album?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
But
like that should be the way that he just doles out the album. It's just
well, and in a way, it becomes almost like a Grateful Dead kind of experience because, like, you're going to get a slightly different performance every time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be an interesting way to have an album, air quotes, even if you can't buy it everywhere. You can at least experience it in person at this one-time event. And
I think the only issue with that is he has taken to collaborating a lot more.
So there's too many features?
It's too many features. If you look at, I mean, Donda has a feature on almost every song.
Yeah.
And they're pretty varied artists. It's like kind of hard to get all of those. I mean, think about it. He's got like fucking Playboy Cardi,
The Weeknd,
and then he's got the Griselda guys, and then he's got the Locks. It's like they're all over the place. How do you, you know, the experience, man, if he could do like a 5 or 10 city tour and like have those, or even when he hits those guys' hometown,
and
they
have
come
them
out,
come out,
go to New York and you just do you have both, you know, you do those songs and Griselda comes out and Locks comes out. That's awesome. Stuff like that would be cool. But yeah, just makes it a little more difficult unless he just does, you know, the solo tracks, which is there's not a lot of them on the more recent albums.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me personally, it feels like this move for having it exclusive to that specific $200 platform feels anti-customer, you know?
Well, and that's his whole MO. And that's why don't people see that? That's been his whole MO this whole time.
Yeah.
Every time he does some shit where he frames it in a way that he's doing it for us, then he turns around, like with his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about this whole thing where like he wants the consumer to be able to he wants everybody to wear Yeezys. He wants everybody to blah, blah, blah. And then he does this deal with Gap. And finally, it seems like he's going to do what he has been preaching about doing for the past like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then he releases like a jacket and a hoodie. Them shit sell out immediately. Nobody can get them. Yeah. Now he's got this like capsule that's coming out in relation with or as part of the promotion of the album. But it's like, again, that's just going to be like overpriced, underdeveloped. They're going to sell like hotcakes. And nobody's going to be able to get their hands on them.
Yeah.
This is his whole MO. This is what he does all the time.
And then there will be an aftermarket of triple, double, quadruple.
Exactly.
The amount.
Like, I don't understand how people how they can't see through this. And they treat him like this messiah when he's been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Ever since he's been able to get like more control over, and I want him to have all creative control and all production control on all on everything. It's his stuff. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve that, but once he got control of all that stuff, it's just
right.
I don't know if it's the infrastructure or if he just like moves on from those ideas before they can come to fruition, or if he's just lying. But this is what he's done every time.
Yeah.
And so it gets old.
I mean, to me, it comes off as like somebody that has a lot of really big ideas. And then when it comes to actually, you know, performing on those things and actually completing those things and getting into the nitty gritty of producing them and manufacturing and all of that, all of those little nitty gritty things.
Yeah.
forget about it. Like, he doesn't have the ability to do that and doesn't have the infrastructure involved that you need to make this really the full vision of what he's dreaming.
Well, I thought the partnership with Gap was the infrastructure. It was the thing he needed to. Yeah,
but
they're pissed.
Yeah,
Gap is pissed. I'm
sure
pissed.
they are.
I invested. I bought stock in Gap. That shit is down, dog.
Yeah. Well, if you only make 2 products, it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, so that's Donda 2.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, things like this move so quickly. By the time we record next week, it will have either leaked or been on the streaming services. Maybe we'll have changed his mind. Maybe he'll give away the STEM devices. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
With Ye, it really
you never know.
You just never know.
Yeah.
I will say, just for the record, the Marilyn Manson DaBaby thing is just so old and tired. I just don't know why he keeps doing it.
Because it gets people talking, and I think he's
but
stubborn.
Even still, like, we're at a point now where people are like, I don't even think people are even talking about it. It's just like, because
he did it again.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, what with DaBaby? There is a point to be. You can make a case for. There are moments where, like this whole quote unquote cancel culture thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
With DaBaby, he said a lot of foul shit.
Sure.
On stage, he did apologize for it, sort of,
kind of, yeah.
And then it felt like he got run through the fucking conveyor belt, the fucking buzzsaw.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a bunch of tour dates and he lost a lot of stuff because of the foul shit that he said that people were like, we're not going to stand for this.
Right.
Consequences of his actions. And then if Ye, it's going to be hard.
We're trying.
If Yeezy wants to take DaBaby under his wing, or even just show support to a guy who made a mistake, needs to be educated, and wants to show a person like that guidance and support,
sure,
you can make a case. If DaBaby wants to be educated, guided, and supported, and he wants to go out there and let people know, I don't think that that's the case.
No,
I'm not defending him. But let me get this. The Marilyn Manson thing, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around what is the point, other than the obvious controversy, cancel culture. This is I understand the point that he's making, quote unquote. But truly, if someone were to ask Ye, why Marilyn Manson? Because the things that Marilyn Manson is being accused of are absolutely heinous.
Yeah. He
didn't just say mean things.
No, there's a documentary coming out about it that looks pretty damning.
Yeah.
Multiple women reporting very similar stories.
And I just don't understand, why is that the hill that he has chosen to die on?
I don't know.
Why?
I think he's
Why?
vain enough to just like the visual of it, of being like, I'm clearly a Christian man standing and performing next to this devil-worshipping demon who's being accused of foul deeds. But I have him here to show that even he can be redeemed or something.
By the power of collaborating on my latest album.
By the power of my latest album.
By the power of Grayskull. You are redeemed, Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I don't know.
You are redeemed.
I don't know. And also, to your point of the DaBaby, you listen to his verse, and he essentially goes, I don't really mean it, I'm sorry. You guys are just trying to hate on me, whatever. Like, it's a completely anti-apology within, like, it's excusing and just saying, what I did wasn't that bad. You guys are just hating. Sorry.
Fuck me.
Ugh.
Oh, no, on my phone, too. Damn. One more thing before we get out of here. Right?
Tell me.
We We told them we were going to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Let's tell the kids what they're missing, or what they might be missing, or you might not be missing anything at all. I don't know. Call of Duty. I always say Call of Duty as if like those are the people that make the game. The Call of Duty people, Activision.
I mean, they basically are.
And well, I guess it's now Microsoft. Who else is involved? Raven Software.
Raven Studios, Sledgehammer, right?
Sledgehammer, yeah. I don't know. A lot of people are involved in the making of these games. A lot of wheels spinning, hands turning.
Infinity Ward
is the one I always
Treyarch,
forget.
Sledgehammer, and Raven.
Look, that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of hands, a lot of cooks in that kitchen.
A lot of mitts.
A lot of hands in that soup. You know, too many cooks.
I like my soup handsy.
Yeah, very handsy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you'll like the new Call of Duty game. So this year, they decided that they're going to move. They're not going to do a new game this year, and effectively moving away from the yearly model.
Right.
And a lot of people, some people are upset because they anticipate these games coming out every year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just like you were saying, Madden and 2K, all annualized series. There are diehards who are there to show up every single year.
I mean, I'll just say off the rip, I think that all of these companies need to do away with yearly releases. There's absolutely no reason why a game should be expected to come out every year, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, sports games makes sense because obviously it's season to season.
Sure.
And you have to update things, and
you can do that without developing a new game.
Well,
though.
But that's what I was going to say. Like back in the day, the only way to continue playing the game in the most updated way is somebody else would have had to done all the real life trades and created the draft class, and then they upload that roster to the internet, and then you would download that onto your game, and then you would have an updated roster.
Yeah.
Nowadays, obviously, you don't have to do that. They
Right.
can just push out an update that takes 2 seconds for you to download, and you have the new rosters. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Or in a step before that, you had to literally press a new game.
Yeah.
To have an updated roster.
Well, yeah,
but no updating it.
Exactly. There was no before that, you just had to have a new game,
Yeah.
or you had to deal with the roster of 1999, So with the advancement in technology of these games, you don't have to do certain things, and a yearly release of like a sports game, for instance, like people will always dog games like NBA 2K or Madden when they come out, and it's like, oh wow, they just made them look sweatier and stuff, and it's like, how much do you want these things to advance yearly?
In a year, yeah.
There is nothing other than video games in which the expectation is that in 365 days, it needs to be completely overhauled,
Yeah.
and created anew,
But also not,
and advanced.
Also not feel so different from what we love already.
Right. You
Because
got to
if you do
strike
that, that's just as bad.
Exactly. It's insane for people, audiences and fans to expect that year in and year out. Because honestly, if a company was given 365 days to do that, they might be able to do something, but they're not. Because the game has to be developed within an X amount of time frame, then it has to be pressed and promoted, and all of these other moving parts have to happen once the game is done. So it's insane.
Yeah.
The expectation is wild, and I think that we're finally at a point where we just don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so with a game like Call of Duty, for instance, there's not even an inherent expectation that the game needs to come out year in and year out. It doesn't make sense that it did for as long as it did.
Yeah,
it didn't have to. There's nothing in the game that indicates that it needs to be updated every year.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like, especially as we've talked about before, the fact that there's something like a Warzone that has people playing through generations, it makes perfect sense that they hold off if people can continue to play the current game. And especially with the way things have been this year in particular with the game, them obviously needing some time to work out the kinks, work out the bugs, figure out how to actually keep cheaters from getting in the game.
They'll never figure that out. They have us by the balls, by the way. If you're a person that plays Warzone, they just have us by the balls. All we do as Warzone players is complain about how broken and shitty the game is, and all we do is log in every day.
Just keep coming back for more. Yeah,
they really have us by the balls. It's so addicting.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, is like they will continue to
grab
your balls, and do what they will with them until you move on to a different game. So as long as you continue to be on the platform, at very least, if not continue to give them money to get stuff, you know, they will continue to change and try to do their best to update things. But at the same time, you know, if you're still on the platform, you're still on the platform.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the whole vote with your wallet thing.
Yeah,
it rings true, and I can't lie and pretend like, you know, I'm gonna boycott these games. Like sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'm just like, I'll just get a couple drops in, and I'll get on Rebirth, and then I'll just get completely mollywobbed, and I'll get angry, and I'll just be looking around like, why, God, why do I?
Why
have
did I
to
do
suffer?
this to myself again?
And then I'll log off, and then I'll sit there and just think like how shitty the game is, and then like a couple hours later I get on with my friends, and it's just like rinse and repeat, man. It's like I'm not doing what I I'm not practicing what I preach. Right. And you know, I just have to just deal with the fact that that's who I am.
Well, to be fair, a lot of these games are very predatory, and they work in a lot of the same ways that like gambling does.
That's right. I'm a victim.
You are a victim. You've been victimized by Call of Duty. Show me where it touched you.
Right here.
Your wallet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I put.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that being said, maybe this is the result of people speaking or voting with their wallet. You know, the fact that they are actually pushing things. But that's what happened to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You know, they finally stopped annualizing the series because it was, you know, just not performing the way that it used to.
Yeah.
And people had been saying that for a couple of years, but it took, you know, the results in their you know, bank statements to actually show, hey, we should probably take a break.
Yeah.
And actually get this thing up to speed, take a breather, and see where we can push things in order to make this more worthwhile for our consumers. Which I think honestly is what DICE should do with the next Battlefield, given how, you know, awful the reception was. I do think people are being a little dramatic about the game. I had plenty of fun with it as it stands.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, that's been my experience. But
well, most of the bad press is the state of the game and not the actual game itself, right? Or am I wrong on that?
I mean, it's been glitch issues. It's been people not being able to find matches quickly because of all this bad press. It's also it's been a lack of modes that were in older games that they just don't have yet. So I mean, top to bottom, there have been complaints of the game, which, you know, are valid, but at the same time, you know, you can't be threatening people. And I had fun with it, so sue me. But that being said, I do think that all of these studios should take a minute to like reflect on, okay, we're in a new generation. Let's give ourselves a little bit of planning time, which I think they should have done ahead of time anyway, if they didn't, and just say, give us a year. Give us a year to play with this newer tech, air quotes, to get to know it, get to know the platforms, and see what we can do to optimize not only, graphics and things like that, but gameplay, innovating on the platform itself, and really, really, more than anything else, just tightening down how the game plays online, because that's the biggest sort of, question factor here. Because once you get it, you can make like a immaculate single player mode, but once it's online, which is really what's going to make you the big bucks, after all, people are going to go in and they're going to hack and they're going to, troll, and they're going to say racist stuff, and they're going to not play the game you wanted people to play. So you have to take that in consideration and consider everything that could possibly happen, which is hard. It's a hard job. But I'm saying give yourself the time to do that and release a game that is going to get a community behind it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's better for you, and that's better for everyone who plays the game. And I can't help but feel this entire first kind of blush of a generation of first-person online shooter has been a complete failure.
Yeah.
It's completely stumbled on its face. And again, I just said Battlefield I had fun with. I still stand by that. But the fact that the perception is so bad means that there are fewer games for me to get into, So I think this is great. I think that they should continue to delay games if they need to.
Yeah.
Give themselves more track to run on. And the rumor here is that this is going to be a sequel to the new Modern Warfare, which I loved. I thought the new Modern Warfare was one of the better recent Call of Duties.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it, and I think personally I'm happy for them to delay it and continue to optimize Vanguard as best as they can in the meantime.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think they give a fuck about Vanguard anymore. They introduced new guns. The game is basically set up to here's new content, new guns and stuff for Vanguard and stuff, but it's really about Warzone.
Sure.
Their focus is primarily Battle Royale.
Yeah, which
Warzone.
makes sense because there's more opportunity to sell stuff and keep people playing, even if they're not on the specific, even if they don't have Vanguard, they can still play.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense. That sucks for me because I like playing multiplayer.
Yeah, you're one of those guys.
I love multiplayer.
Doesn't
yeah.
make any sense. It's so frustrating.
I love multiplayer.
I hate it so much. I hate the only time I play multiplayer is to level up guns to use in Warzone. And it's a miserable experience. People are running around with like akimbo shotguns and stuff, and you're just getting decimated, and you're like, why are you here? Level up a gun and then get out.
Get out of here. I'm one of those freaks. I like staying in it.
There should be a mode for people who just want to level up guns. We should all just be able to like run around with the well gun, or like, the new, they introduce a gun and then they give you this weird way of unlocking the gun. So you have to do all this stupid shit to unlock it. Like to get the well gun, you had to get 15 ADS kills in 10 different matches. Fine. It's an arduous task. It didn't count my first 10 games for some reason. It didn't count them. It happens a lot whenever they do this whole do this thing to unlock the gun. A lot of times it won't count at
like
first.
Missions
it's like a bug.
Or something.
Yeah, sort of. And so you have to suffer through that, and it's just like, just let me in a game mode where we're all doing that.
Yeah.
So at least when I die to somebody, it's like, oh, he's doing what I'm doing, and I just lost a fair fight.
Well,
because
Marco,
here's the thing: if
you could simply buy that gun,
fuck you. Fuck no.
Well, you're saying it like they don't realize it's an arduous task.
It's so but you don't even have to you don't even have to allow people out of your ecosystem. You can keep us contained.
Sure.
And just make it just a tiny bit less frustrating for people.
My point is they're not going to give you anything, any kind of easy leg up to get that gun, because they want you to be frustrated. They want you to go, oh, and then go, you know what? I can just drop $10 right now. Or was it? How much do season passes cost nowadays?
I don't know. I've never.
$10-$20. I don't know.
I'll never, ever. I will never spend actual money on a Game Pass of any game.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not buying your subscription. If you told me that I just unlock the thing, then sure, I'll pay for that. I'm not gonna season by season continue to give you $15-$20.
Yeah.
You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
If you think that I'm gonna pay for a fucking monthly subscription I'll just use the old shitty guns and lose a bunch. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, that's your prerogative, sir. But
that is.
Then you're gonna have to continue to get frustrated.
And I will.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be. I'm excited to see what
Okay.
They do with this new game,
Great.
and I hope that what it does is open the door for these other companies to go, oh, their fan base was patient, and then they came out with a good game, and they rewarded their audience, and their audience rewarded them by fucking showing up in droves and buying the game. So we can do that too.
Yeah.
And I hope that is a trend that happens. So
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Let's cheers it up, then drink this beer, and then get the you know what out of here. All right?
All right.
You have your cheers?
I'm pulling up the details of my cheers.
Oh, we need details for the cheers.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
So my cheers of the week is to 500-pound bear named Frank the Tank.
To Frank.
Cheers. So there is a chunky bear that's apparently terrorizing California currently. He's been breaking into houses. He's been eating up everybody's food. And he's huge. And I love him. Literally, like, he's been evading the police for the past couple of days. I for one, hope he continues.
How does a 500-pound bear evade anything?
They apparently found him, and I think they shot at him with like beanbags, and it didn't affect him at all, and he kept running.
He is a beanbag.
I may have made that story up. I don't know. But either way, he has been literally ransacking the California countryside.
God, that's awesome.
And so there's actually been the police have said that they plan to euthanize him if they catch him because he's been in contact with humans. So they can't send him back out in nature. But there's been an entire plea that's been going out, an online petition, I believe, that's been signed by thousands and thousands of people asking for them to grant him clemency. And
grant him clemency.
To instead rehome him to a sanctuary where he'll be safe. He won't hurt anybody. He hasn't hurt anybody, by the way. He's just, gone around and eating people's food.
Where did he even come from? Did he come from a sanctuary?
No, he's just been wandering around and he found food and he's been having a good time of it. So there's photos of him. I hope you look up Frank the Tank. Yeah. Bear.
I like to imagine that they like put out a police sketch of a 500-pound bear, and they're like, "If you have seen this man,
look at him.
He's so big."
Yeah.
That's that's amazing.
Yep.
There has to be Frank the Tank merch, right?
Of course, there's got to be. There's got to be.
But who profits? I want Frank to profit.
Me too. What my hope in bringing a little awareness to Frank as I can on the show is that I hope that you sign the petition to save Frank's life. And I hope that if there is any profit to be made, it goes to a sanctuary that keeps him safe and hungry and fat.
Yeah.
And feeds his hunger.
Man, please don't give a fuck about no
online petition.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that shit. If one of them sees him out in the streets, he gonna get clapped up.
Stop resisting!
He's a black bear.
He is a black bear. Anyway, I wish him well. I hope he, at very least, is never to be seen again.
Yeah.
And he goes off to be legendary in maybe Alaska or something. He makes his way north.
Beautiful.
To the Forbidden West.
Yeah. North, where they treat black bears nice.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. My cheers of the week, unfortunately, goes to two conglomerates.
Oh, okay.
The NBA / ESPN.
Weird.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Remember, these cheers aren't just, this thing is amazing.
Sure.
But it is amazing. The NBA and ESPN both created their top 75 players of all time lists of NBA players. Mm-hmm. Because the league's been around 75 years. Yada, yada.
Yeah,
you get
makes
it.
sense.
And the lists have both... the NBA's list was released earlier, not this year, but like late 2021. And it was chock full of controversy. A lot of like crazy omissions. A couple of like really weird additions to the list.
Any doping scandals that we have to know about?
No doping scandals, no.
Should we call Ian?
No. I can handle this one. But the NBA's list wasn't in order. It was just the 75 greatest players of all time, but in no particular
parentheses order. In no particular order. Right.
And so you get a bunch of guys like there's a lot of recency bias with both lists, where there's guys that are just on the list where you're like, but at least the NBA's list, it's not in any order. Mm-hmm. So when you see a guy like Kevin Durant on the list, you're like, well, yes, he is a supremely talented NBA player. He is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He's already got the accolades, an MVP, multiple championships, multiple finals MVPs, multiple All-Stars, All-NBAs, all defensive. Anyway, he has the accolades, so he does belong on the list. Now, the question is, where does he belong on the list? Now, ESPN comes in with their list, and their list is in order.
Ooh.
Which gives us so much more to talk about.
Yeah.
It's fantastic because it's a crazy list. It has most of the same guys from NBA's list. Some more insane omissions. But the real beauty of it is the order. I love, and people who know me know this about me, I love lists.
Of course.
They're like my favorite things in the world, to just look at how people rank things. Mm-hmm. It's just the best because it's just... I can talk forever about them, especially when it's things that I know about. I just like it. It just can last forever, and this has given me so much. Last night, me and South actually, ironically, brought him up. We talked till almost 5 a.m. about this list, just going through the numbers, the stats, why this guy belongs, why this guy doesn't belong. It's amazing. I love it. And that's why I look the way that I look, because I get no sleep, because I just look at these stupid lists and then debate on why one guy deserves and one guy doesn't deserve. And it's just, I love it. So if you if you like that kind of shit, look up ESPN's list and hate it with me.
Who's number one?
Michael Jordan.
Of course. Okay.
So it's Mike, LeBron's 2, Kareem's 3.
Where's Kobe?
Kobe's 10. So he's in the top 10.
Kobe's 10.
Well, are you saying that because you think he deserves to be higher?
Yeah.
Or lower? Well, so...
I would think.
Yeah, you would think.
Are we looking at, like, the stats don't line up or something? Like...
Well, the thing about... And it's funny. It's actually funny you bring that up because one of my cousins is, like, a Kobe Bryant super fan. And when the list came out, he freaked out.
Okay.
He lost his shit. Let me see if I can go to, like, what he was saying. I'll edit it for you guys, obviously. He said...
I see paragraphs.
Yeah, this is all him talking about Kobe. This shit He said, everybody boycott ESPN. Do not watch for a week. So first of all, it's like, okay, man, relax.
Yeah.
I stopped watching ESPN, so it doesn't even matter. This shit is the most disrespectful shit ever. We talking about a man who three-peat the finals, won 2 to 3 by himself. He won 2 by himself, not 3. The man had old-ass Meta World Peace, crackhead Lamar. That's fucked up.
Oh, my God.
Old-ass Gasol. Like, look at his championship teams and compare them with others. I'm not talking about Kobe and Shaq. I'm talking about Kobe post-Shaq. It's no way Kobe ain't number 1 or 2. LeBron could never. That's kind of, he goes on and on. I'm sorry, Kevin. Kobe Bryant's not number 1 or 2. There's no universe in which Kobe Bryant is better than Michael Jordan. And honestly, there's no universe where he's better than LeBron. Like he's not better than LeBron James.
I mean that's my point of view too. I would have thought he would have been in top 5 though.
Well, the top 5 is Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem, Magic,
Larry Bird.
I think Bird was 6. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull up the list.
I took the bait.
You did. No, we won't. Obviously, we don't have to go through the. We're not going to go through the list, but the top 10.
Yeah,
we'll just give people the top 10 so that they
top
can look at. Number 1 was Michael Jordan. Number 2, LeBron James. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 4 is Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Number 5, Wilt Chamberlain.
So I was wondering where they'd put Wilt the Stilt.
So you have to argue why Kobe Bryant is better than Magic Johnson and Wilt Chamberlain. Because he's not gonna rank over Mike, LeBron, or Kareem.
Yeah,
it's just not happening.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you can do is argue that he's top 5, and his resume is better than Magic's, and his resume is better than Wilt's.
Well, the thing is, and look, little background story for you. Okay, I think it was 5th grade. We had a project where we had to come dressed as
you had to come. Ew. Sorry.
We had to arrive at school dressed. This beer's not nearly strong enough for you to make that joke, okay?
I know.
We had to arrive at school dressed as somebody from American history.
Uh-huh.
And I just happened to find a biography on Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
So I came with a bootleg Wilt Chamberlain Lakers jersey.
Nice.
And I read his like like the little kids biographies that they had that was like hardcover, but it was like that thin.
Uh-huh.
I read it top to bottom.
Yeah.
Talked to my dad about Wilt Chamberlain, and he's like, "Yeah, he scored 100 points. It was crazy." I have a special place in my heart for Wilt Chamberlain.
All right.
I do. Just based on that project alone, okay?
Right.
It's a weird thing, it's a quirk, but it still exists nonetheless. I mean, let's not even talk about his player status.
Hey.
And,
It's solidified.
it is what it is. So,
Okay, so yeah. So
I
obviously
have-
you can't take Wilt off to the top 5
look,
for Kobe Bryant.
I personally cannot. I cannot myself, but I also take my bias into account. I can see how people can take him out of the conversation because of time and place of where he came up and why he scored so many crazy numbers in his time.
Yeah.
Because, we're talking about like the primordial soup of the NBA,
Yeah. Yeah, but see, that was part of the discussion that South and I were having, which is that basketball is a unique sport, a unique sport in which you have to give context for most of the players that you talk about because number 1, it's younger than a lot of sports, and number 2, the rules have changed so much during its short life.
Sure.
More so than most every other sport. There's been huge changes. The shot clock, 3-point line, the foul rule changes, the innovation of how players play the game.
I was going to say talent alone.
Yeah, no, it's a
talent, technique, the way it's changed even in the past, I'd say 20, 30 years.
Yeah. You could make an argument that the past 10 years,
yeah,
the leap in talent is more than it was. So you always have to say this era, that era. You have to give context for each of these guys. That being said, we kind of agreed that Wilt was a supreme talent that I truly believe would have been successful in any era of basketball, including today's era of basketball.
I agree. I've seen the argument before on saying like it's almost like memed at this point of like this was his competition. It's like 1920s like and
that is not true to the extent that people try to make it seem like it is. They make it seem like Wilt was like 8 feet tall and his opponents were all like 5'3", and he was just like bouncing the basketball on the tops of their heads and stuff. Yes, he dominated, but like you have to have the talent to average 50 points a game.
Oh, sure.
Yes, of course, his competition level was not as high as it would have been in like the 70s, but you still have to you still have to be tremendously talented to average 50 points over the course of an entire season.
Well, and I don't know how much this factors into the list, but the fact that he was such a like groundbreaker.
Yeah, I think that factors into the list. Yeah. Number 6 is Bill Russell.
Okay.
One of the most winningest players of all time. I think he has 11 championships. They always talk about 11 championships. They always talk about the 11 championships. We had a hard time with I in particular had a hard time. I always have a hard time with Bill Russell because the people fall over themselves to shout out Bill Russell, and I'm just like, he was good, but he was also on one of the greatest teams of all time.
Sure.
The 11 champion. Fine, he belongs on the list. I'm not saying take him off the list. He belongs on the list. Larry Bird at 7, Tim Duncan at 8, Oscar Robertson at 9, and then Kobe at 10. I mean, honestly, you could maybe put him ahead of Oscar. I wouldn't put him ahead of Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward of all time. Kobe Bryant is not the greatest two guard of all time. Michael Jordan is. Yeah. So he's not even the best at his position. Tim Duncan is far and away the best power forward to ever play basketball. Right now, anyway.
Yeah.
So I just don't think who would you put him ahead of? I wouldn't put him ahead of Larry Bird. Talent-wise, yes. If Kobe and Larry Bird played one-on-one, Kobe would probably win, but like their legacies and like everything that they've done, like the grand total of, and Larry Bird, you can make a case to put him ahead of Larry Bird, but Larry Bird, his career was cut short by his back injuries. If he had those last 6 or 7 seasons and he didn't have to worry about like his back like literally shutting down on him, his numbers would be even more out of control. There's no telling, which is not, I mean, obviously the argument to say like, well, you're just assuming, sure. But I don't know. There's a recency bias with Kobe because he passed.
Sure.
And a lot of people are now thinking that he's being disrespected by these lists. Top 10 out of 75 players.
That's no disrespect.
No, he's ahead of like a lot. He's ahead of a lot of players who have won multiple MVPs. Kobe Bryant only won 1 MVP. People think that Kobe Bryant was just like dominating. He won 3 championships with Shaq. Then he won 2 more by himself. He won 2 more by himself. So he's 5 in total. He has 1 MVP. I think he has, I don't know how many finals MVPs he has. I'm not saying that he's not one of the greatest of all time. He obviously is.
Yeah.
But to say that he's top 3, you put him ahead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? No fucking universe you put him ahead of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I see why you stayed up until 5 o'clock.
Yeah, let me just, exactly. This
fertile ground on which we walk.
Anyway, so that's my cheers because, that's the kind of juice that it gives me.
Yeah.
So
also, Juan's going to hate you.
Why? He's a big Kobe guy?
Big black mamba man.
I mean, okay, yeah. Well, come at me, bro. Come at me. Come at me.
We'll get your input next time you're on the show. I'd love
to hear his compelling argument as to why you would put him ahead of LeBron or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James. Yeah. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
So tonight's brew was from the Oviedo Brewing Company, the Barnyard Blonde Ale. Obi, what'd you think?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. Didn't blow me away. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. It didn't blow me away. The flavor was a little lacking, if I'm being completely honest. I did get some of that wheat flavor. It's very easy drinker, which I enjoy. But, you know, I think I'm so used to a lot of the more traditional, like, German styles that are just a little bit sweeter, just a little more pleasant to drink, I feel. This has kind of... metallic's not the right word, but it has a bit of, like, just a kind of tang to it that doesn't really read well with me.
I mean, if metallic is the first word that comes to your mind when you're describing something off your palate, then just run with it. It's not like they intended for it to taste metallic, but like that's, you know, when people are describing shit and they're like, it tastes like a fucking garden hose. Yeah.
Fresh
like,
cut grass.
That's the, if you're not trying
it tastes like uncut jams.
Uncut jams. If you're not doing a try-hardy thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, I will say it has almost like a little bit of a tinny taste to it. Mm-hmm. That it's not very pleasant, I will say. But that being said, outside of that, it's a very easy drinker. It's not that... super flavorful, a little weedy, if that, a little bit of a bitter at the very end there. I'm gonna give it a 4. I would probably get it if I was looking for something a little lighter at Oviedo Brewing, but other than that, you know what, 3.5. 3.5, because in thinking of the situation in which I would reorder this, it's only if I'm looking for something like really light.
Yeah.
In that scenario in particular.
Yeah.
Would I go out of my way to get this one again? Probably not.
Yeah.
But not bad. It's not offensive. You know.
Damn, it's tough. It's inoffensive.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna give it a 3.5. It's no standout flavors really. Just kind of a one note kind of deal. Not like bad by any means, but yeah, I mean, really the thing is like, if they have it on draft, honestly, I mean, you could probably hear it as soon as I started drinking it. Like,
the wheat started affecting you.
Wheat ales always like close up my nose for some reason. It happens every time. I was feeling fine when I got here, and then like the second this hit my tongue, it's like my nose is just fucking So, that's why I don't drink a lot of weedy beers. Wheat forward beers usually I try to avoid, which is not a knock on the beer itself. It's not the beer's fault that it's a wheat beer.
It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's your fault. Yeah.
Yikes.
But that being said, for me personally, it is a little tougher to enjoy this. So if you're somebody who doesn't like really like wheat forward ales, you probably won't dig this as much.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're good with the wheat blonde, pretty good, and you want something a little lighter, not something something inoffensive.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is on draft, I'd rock it. But yeah, would I go out of my way for this? Nah. Would I seek out the Barnyard Blonde?
Yeah.
Nah, probably not.
Agreed.
Oh, it's a big chicken. I kept seeing the drawing out of the corner of my eye. I thought it was like a Muppet. It's not. It's just a big rooster and a couple of chickens.
Yeah. Gotta love the Oviedo branding.
Yep. Premium craft beers from Oviedo Brewing Company. So that's that. A unanimous 3.5. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, then let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast from myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yay!
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beers and have a beautiful evening.
We love you. I have no.
I saw that.